you, I won't do it here in front of Dave Rubin, because then when I turn around and ask Dave Rubin, do you think that J6 was bad? And he's like, well, yeah, Antifa. Like, conservatives will not take accountability for anything they've done. So why the
So woke Twitch streamer Destiny was recently given an opportunity to retract his statements about what he said about the firefighter who was killed when the assassin tried to kill Donald Trump earlier this year, and he completely failed to retract those statements. Not only that, he doubled down, he went on the attack, and he even went so far to call for the cancellation of some of the, what he calls, far-right voices. Let's have a look.
Can I ask you about some of your own tweets?
Sure.
After the first assassination attempt on Donald Trump, you got quite a lot of heat for a series of tweets that you put out, which had some choice words, not just for Trump, but also for Corey Comparatore, who was the firefighter that got killed by mistake by the shooter at the Trump rally. You were on Twitter almost immediately calling him fucking retarded. That is Corey, not Donald Trump, saying that you have zero sympathy for anybody who gets caught in a crosshair like that, and seeming to have no sort of ill feeling about the fact that a former president, somebody tried to assassinate them. I must say that when I saw those tweets, I was shocked. I was surprised. And a lot of people messaged me and said, is this the guy you had on your show? Like, you might want to think again before having him back on. And I'm sure that people who haven't watched this far have already commented down below, I can't believe you had this guy back on. I understand that you are angry about the state of the right wing in America. I understand that you really don't like Trump, and that's putting it far too lightly. But when you talk about how you don't like Twitter because it sort of is poisoning our political dialogue, do you not think you're contributing to it as well with this kind of behavior?
No, I don't think the dialogue is being poisoned because people are being mean, of which conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't give a fuck about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies and gets shot or whatever the fuck, okay? Because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. They have no problem making fun of anybody else that gets killed in some horrific event. A lot of conservatives were laughing along at a lot of my tweets when I was making fun of Palestinians during my last, year and a half talking about Israel, and some of them laughed when I made fun of Israelis as well, but all of a sudden Corey is beyond reproach. Bullshit. I think that the issue that I have with X isn't people being mean, it's people that are just lying and contributing to a destruction of the discourse. I think that people can be mean. I think hate speech is fine, whatever you want to do there. But when you have people that are intentionally bad actors that are just destroying the discourse by just flooding it with incorrect stuff that they're not even trying to be correct about, the entire world would be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms.
This dude is completely sick in the head, and I think he needs to be checked into a mental institution, because some of the things that he just said right there are completely wrong. And ironically, it's exactly the same thing that he's doing. Isn't that what the Democrats always do? They accuse their enemies of doing the things that they're actually doing. And so I just find it so ironic and hypocritical. And honestly, I find it straight up evil, the things that this dude says and does.
Like, there is no downside and only upside to see people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool never be allowed to publicly broadcast their opinions ever again. It's exclusively bad stuff that happens. So if somebody wants to be mean or an ass or whatever, I'm totally fine with that. But when people are supporting, the destruction of our world, like informationally, right? When we've all become epistemic nihilists and now anything can be true. I remember joking 2 or 3 years ago, or however long ago it was, with the wildfires in Hawaii. I think I said something like, nothing will ever happen again. Nothing can happen anymore. It's all a conspiracy. And it is now, right? Like, I start a lot of my debates off with conservatives being like, do you believe in dinosaurs, by the way? A lot of them don't. They don't think dinosaurs are real. They think oil is naturally replenishing, and big petroleum made dinosaurs up.
And here he is doing it again. He claims to be smart, he talks fast, and he gives you no opportunity for rebuttal. But he just claimed that fossil fuels come from dinosaurs. That's not true. Look it up, right?
The boat collision, I think in Ohio, was the Mossad that, rammed a boat in to take off the heat from Gaza. The train derailment in East Palestine was just leftists trying to poison the environment. Every single foreign affair is, Ukraine was started as a revolution by the CIA, and, there were bioweapon labs there, and COVID was a hoax, and the vaccine, like every single fucking thing. And now the hurricane is made by the government, I guess. Every single thing is not real, and it is destroying us. We have no unified front right now that we can present to the world.
I'm going to keep cutting in because this dude, he says so many things, and a few of them need to be addressed. He just, mentioned the hurricane. Well, guess what we just found out about FEMA? They were skipping houses with Trump signs. They were literally putting it in writing to not address and give aid to folks that lived in homes that had Trump signs in their yards. So can you blame us for pointing to the government that's in charge at the time when East Palestine, Ohio, before they had any opportunity to have an investigation, just straight up blew up the chemicals that were leaking without trying to retrieve them, recover them, anything? They just like, we're going to blow it up and basically destroy all evidence. And frankly, I believe that this dude is forming his opinion about the right-wing Republican whatever based on the farthest right fringe speculation, not even things that people are putting out there as truth, just questions that people are asking. Because if you realize, as we know, anytime you ask a Democrat a question, they assume that you are presuming that that question is true, whereas you're really just asking a question.
And we can't even do anything in our own country with ourselves.
There's so much to say in that. I mean, for a start, being mean, as you put it, which of course is different from, say, spreading disinformation or misinformation. Like you're allowed to call someone a fucking retard if you want to. Do you think that this is constructive to the political conversation? I mean, even if you think you have a right to do it, and okay, the other side do it too, isn't the point to lead by example? I mean, if I were engaging in some of the atrocious political conduct that you observe on the right, as a left-winger, and then you called me out on it and said, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. And I said, well, hey, the right do it too. The point is that when the right do it, we say that it's a bad thing. And so to be sort of doing it in response seems, at the very least, not constructive, right?
The issue, again, and I
See, but the actual reality here with Destiny is he's saying that people deserve to die for being mean, or that people deserve to be canceled and completely lose their livelihood because they were mean on X, or basically, trolling him on his own channel or wherever it is that he's getting this information.
reiterate this, even though nobody will pay attention, not calling you out, but audience, whatever. I don't care about people being mean. People being mean is not the problem. The problem is the lying and the mis and disinformation. That's the big problem. When people want to say like, the issue is we can't, the problem right now is that in the United States, there exists two different standards, and you can't live in a world where where both sides have to play by different standards. It doesn't work. For everybody that wants to jerk off evolutionary biology, we call these tit for tat systems in nature. You can't have a tit where somebody tries to attack you and there's no punishment, because that type of behavior will just lead to the attacker, right, taking over, because there's no repercussions for what they're doing. There is some benefit to attacking the other side, and then it rallies your side up and it demoralizes the other side. That's why conservatives have attacked so brutally liberals for so long, and they get all of the benefit from that. They get all of the fun, all of the excitement. They get to, give the strong morale to their people. They get to have all the chance at rallies. And then as soon as it happens to them, hold on. Well, this isn't fair anymore. We don't like this. This isn't okay. I don't like this anymore. The fact that after that shooting, Biden, who in a private call to donors said, like, we need to put the Trump campaign in the bullseye or whatever, that guy, that he went on, I don't remember which news station it was, but he had apologized for those comments when conservatives are like on the regular saying some of the most deranged, unhinged shit. I wish I had examples offhand if I knew this was a topic, but Trump is like himself on every rally will just say like insane shit. No, that's bullshit. The double standards can't exist if conservatives.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you're correct. Everything you just said is bullshit. The reason why it's not fun to go rally behind liberal ideas is because it's not fun to go out there to a pro-abortion rally that kills babies. It's not fun to go out there and cheer for tampons being in boys' or girls' restrooms. Boys' restrooms. It's not fun to go out there and cheer for men being in women's sports. That's not fun. What's fun is to stand up for the truth and go out there and fight for the truth and honor. And then you can have pride in that. You can't have pride in any of those things that the left stands for.
Don't like it. They need to elevate their own behavior, because I'm getting really tired of liberals constantly having to fucking row the boat while conservatives are this anchor that are just dragging us into the Atlantic with absolutely, no responsibility or accountability for their behavior.
So you don't
Reality
like the whole
is the opposite.
Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high kind of approach. Is there no
I think Michelle got rid of that. By the way, most people on the right think she's trans. I had this conversation on Peers where it's like, don't you disavow this and everything. It's like, no, f you. I won't do it here in front of Dave Rubin. Because then when I turn around and ask Dave Rubin, do you think that J6 was bad? And he's like, well, yeah, Antifa. Like, conservatives will not take accountability for anything they've done. So why the fuck would I disavow any individual shooter? Is that like, they shouldn't do it. But like, you guys think that, look at all the weird shit you obsess over for trans people and the trans groomer and the cutting off children's dicks and all of this and all the document and the obsession over it, or the obsession over like, well, I could give like a million examples, but
so I think we've had enough of him. But to address some of those things he said at the end, he wanted to say, I'm not going to say this in front of Dave Rubin because he won't admit that January 6th was bad. No, Dave Rubin and I and the rest of, America First MAGA will tell you that the people that fought with the police need to be dealt with accordingly and properly. Putting them in gulags for 3+ years without a trial, that's not accordingly and properly. Not only that, but we've seen the video. They've released a lot of the video, which showed that the Capitol Police opened the magnetically locked doors from inside and then let people go around. They ushered the shaman dude around the whole Capitol, and he even said a prayer thanking them for being kind and letting them have access to protest. These people stayed within the velvet ropes, little old ladies waving their American flags. Those people didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't this crazy thing that you can compare to 9/11 or, Pearl Harbor or anything that the left tries to do when they try to make any little thing that the right does so big. Meanwhile, they excuse. You remember the quote? The guy was standing in front of a building on fire saying, these are mostly peaceful protests during the Summer of Love when people were rioting during COVID and over the George Floyd nonsense, right? And so the facts matter, the truth matters, and if you want to call balls and strikes, you have to call the proper strike zone. And the left has no qualms calling a pitch that's high and outside a strike and a pitch that's right down the middle a ball, depending on who threw it. And that's not the type of leadership that we need. And the other thing that Destiny just said right there about the right is obsessed with what's going on with the trans movement. We're obsessed with it in defense of the people that are innocent, of the people that don't have fully developed brains, in defense of the left who's going out there basically, of the predators on the left that are basically going out there and turning children to the opposite sex, which that's not really the reality of what's happening. They are just doing what he said, cutting off their dicks, putting them on puberty blockers, all this nonsense, right? And not only that, they're doing it behind their parents' backs. So yeah, we're obsessed about it because we're on the side of truth and what's being proper. And so yeah, we obsess about it, but it's like I said, in defense of the attack, right? You can't, like, I'll use what he just said against us. You can't just continually attack and push the, animal into the corner without the animal eventually lashing back. And that is the right now. That is people on the side of truth and fairness, and the side of people, and the side that people are on. And that is the right now. We're fighting for truth. We're fighting for fairness in women's sports. We're fighting to protect the young ones who don't know what they're doing. You ask some kid what he wants to be when he grows up, and 99.999% of the time, they're not going to be that person once they grow up. So you can't allow these people to be such predators against. You can't allow these people to be the predators that they are without fighting for truth and justice, right? And so anyways, with that, I hope you guys agree. If you're America First, you're in the right place. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and I want to let you guys know. And also, I want to let you guys know I go live every Wednesday and Saturday at 6 p.m. I'd love to see you guys there, but if I don't, hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video.